Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Yo, it's Classic with the classic codes. We got a code language conversation today. Before I get into this code language and this stream of consciousness with y'all, I need you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button and make comments as we go along so we can have a conversation, because we got to crack these codes, man. Yes, Lord. So the code language today is going to be about balanced understanding. Yes, sir. We're going to talk about balanced understanding today. I think it's something that's underrated, and I really feel like it's something that we can improve upon in totality, myself included, right? Check it out. Let me get this queued up right quick. Yes, sir. So with balanced understanding, man, we need more of it. Balanced understanding is so nuanced, right? So you need to be able to understand what you don't understand. Understand that gaining further understanding is a lifelong journey. You can learn something new literally every day. You can learn multiple things new literally every day. Your brain's capacity is infinite, not finite. But just balanced understanding. I think balanced understanding is the reason why maturity exists. The more understanding you gain, I think the more you become settled into who you are, who you would like to be, how you would like to present, all of those things, right? With balanced understanding, I've learned how to be more empathetic as a person in general. I've also learned that I'm judgmental. I also learned that I've weaponized being judgmental. So I say that to say this. I may be judgmental, but my intentions are good, right? And then some people say, well, we shouldn't judge. The same people also probably say we shouldn't shame. The same people also probably say we shouldn't bully. I think that oftentimes with balanced understanding, emphasis on balanced is there's a time and place for all of these things. We place negative and positive connotations on things, and we use terms disproportionately in one direction or the other. So, for example, judgment is oftentimes used in a negative connotation, disproportionate to positive. I'd say if I see my family and I have a family that is largely out of shape or overweight or, poor nutritionally, right? Judging or even using the word assessing the situation in front of me, whichever word, because they can be synonymous to a degree. But judging or assessing the situation and then addressing it, is that necessarily negative or is that love, right? I want you to be better. I want you to do better. I want you to feel better. I want us to heal, right? That's love. But without proper judgment or assessment or understanding, how do we ever get to a place? Because being non-judgmental could, I'm not going to say with absolution that it will, but a side effect of being non-judgmental could turn you into an enabler. And that's why we got to have balanced understanding, right? When is the right time? When is a good time to judge? When is judging simply a reflection of one's own insecurities versus judging to be effectively motivational or inspirational or encouraging? That's what I mean. So we can't disproportionately associate connotations to words, because that would be outside of balanced understanding. As you can see in my Classic Codes logo, there's a scale around the ear of the lion. And it's not there for my zodiac or anything like that, but it's because it's about gaining balance. See, the thing about balanced understanding is, that there's going to be a time. I've had an abundance of wins in my life. I've had more awesome years than I've had rough ones. But the rough ones I had, they were tumultuous as hell, you know, very, very, very rough years. But I've had more good years than rough ones for sure. And that's the balance, right? And I've heard people say, man, I just kind of like feel weird that things been going so good for me. It kind of give you like this anxiety, like, when shit gonna go left? Somebody would say, oh, don't talk like that. Like, you will speak something up on yourself. But the truth is, nah, man, the tide always gonna change. Y'all ever been out there on that ocean? That tide, that current, it's always gonna shift. That's balanced understanding. If you've been on a 5-year run of straight wins, you think ain't no storm coming, you naive. If you've been on a 10-year run of straight wins, you think you never gonna encounter another storm, you naive. Because life is it's an all-encompassing experience. Just as much as you experience success, you'll experience some failure. The playing field will become level. I remember Floyd said he's perfect in boxing, but he's taken a lot of losses in life, such as all of us, right? So that's the reality of having balanced understanding. It's just because guess what? The storm that you go through, let's say you've been winning for 5 years straight, and then your 6th year, you come across a storm, a rough year, a rough patch, a hard time, lose a close family member, your bread get toe up, you gotta relocate, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, all in 1 year, right? You just have a rough go of it. Okay. All of that added up, and then you made it through anyway. And you still standing, and you back on your feet, and you doubled that money, and now your family member ain't coming back, but somebody else in the family that added to the family, they done had a baby, and the baby got 10 fingers, 10 toes, and they healthy, and now you back winning, you back counting W's again. Understand that it's just gonna always be some balance to this experience that we call life. It's a lot to this. Like with me, I can judge somebody or assess them and see things for what it is, and I still see the light that's there too that they could tap into. I still see the potential that's there too that they could tap into. I still see that the space that they in on their journey, they got this much room to really, take themselves up a notch, right? Because I could see those same things within myself when I might have been at the same stage in my journey. I might see a lot of me in them on their journey, right? So that's the empathy. That's the empathy, and that's the balanced understanding. So a person to focus on your judgment or your assessment because you saying something. So if I'm saying something to you, it's because I love you. If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't point out nothing I noticed. I wouldn't point out nothing that I assessed and or judge, because I think we use judge wrong. Sometimes it's an assessment. What's the difference between a judgment and an assessment? Maybe we'll break that down in this code language too. But we have to get past the initial offense of something and listen for understanding. Because if somebody coming to you saying, hey, you smoke cigarettes and I love you, and I want you to be around for a while. I want you to be able to breathe. I want you to have a high quality of life. I want you to find different ways to cope with stress. I want you to save that bread that you spending on them cigarettes. I want you to, and they come to you on that type of time. You got multiple different ways to respond. You can respond with mind your business, leave me alone. I'm willing to, leave Earth off these squares. Or you got the response of, wow, like I've never had nobody come to me like that. And, I want to stop. And you could pour your heart out a little bit. I want to stop. It's just tough. And, I truly am addicted. And, I'm gonna need some help through this process. Now you done came to them because you assessed what it is and you looked at it for what it is, and you came to them with love, even though it's a tough conversation. If we can keep balanced understanding and get that initial feeling of being triggered or offended out the way, then we could walk into greatness. We could walk into self-improvement. We could walk into evolution. You understand what I'm saying? So balanced understanding is everything. When I see people who haven't learned past a point that I've learned past, I don't look at them like they're complete idiots. But if they come to me trying to preach to me about something that I know better about than what they do, and I can pick up on it, I can identify it, I can hear it, I can, prove it. I'm not going to look down upon them. I just understand. With balanced understanding, I understand where you at on your journey. Again, you not in a place where you could really talk to me about this, but you feel like you are, and I respect it, because when I was at the place you at right now, I felt just like you. That's that empathy. Balanced understanding. You know what I mean? So I think that having a healthy balance of everybody on their own journey, everybody at different places in their journey, understanding that everybody not going to understand the way you understand. Most people are sheep. It's just that they be following the wrong shepherds. So it's a lot of people that's going to live and die never gaining consciousness. It's been happening. It will continue to happen. I think for people who want to see improvement in society, see improvement in their people or what they consider to be their tribe, I think it's just up to you to give off the energy and be the light that needs to be shined to help those who can be helped. But thinking you're going to get out here and have 100% savior rate or whatever the case may be, you fooling yourself. But again, that's balanced understanding. Even with manifestation, some people don't have balanced understanding. They manifest in the world but forgot to be grateful, right? Like, until you thanking God for your 10 fingers, 10 toes, like you out here trying to manifest 100 million. It's crazy. You got to be rooted in something. And so having that understanding of, I want for more, but I'm grateful for what I do have. I'm fortunate for what I do have. It could be worse, it could be better. That balanced understanding, I think that keeps you in a place where you grounded enough to elevate. But when it's all just gluttony, greed, oh, I gotta run it up, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna burn out, or you're gonna compromise yourself. You're gonna start making the wrong rights and lefts. You know what I'm saying? You're going to start making the wrong turns when it's just all about running it up, when it's just all about, one thing. You got to have a level of balanced understanding. And your understanding being balanced will make your approach balanced. And if your approach is balanced, you should be highly efficient. Just in the way you move, the way you get things done, your discipline, your consistency, all of these things are in alignment with balanced understanding. I hope y'all really understanding what I'm saying, pun intended. But let's look at that real quick. The difference between, in definition, the difference between judgment and assessment. Hold on, y'all. Judgment, meaning. Here we go. All right, judgment, the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. Judgment, the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. The second definition, a misfortune or calamity viewed as a divine punishment. So the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. All right, now let's look at the definition of assessment. Assessment, the evaluation or estimation of the nature, quality, or ability of someone or something. You see what I'm saying? So I think oftentimes we misuse the word judgment for assessment, right? So like if you see somebody who is, I always use this example because we have an obesity issue in America. So it's just an easy example to go to, and it's a controllable. So nobody could feel bad for me saying it. If you big and you're not doing nothing about it, don't get mad at me about that, right? But if I see a person and they 500 pounds waddling through the store, am I judging them if I see that they are morbidly obese and they clearly have poor lifestyle habits and choices, and that is probably a super, super small chance that there is a hereditary health condition is the reason why they're that damn big? Most of the time you see somebody that big, any health conditions they have is due to the life they was living to get that big. It is not they are that big due to the health condition. That it does happen, but it is extremely rare. Most people big due to their lifestyle and their choices, right? So is it a judgment to see them and see a lack of discipline? Is it a judgment to see them and see laziness? It is not. It is an assessment. So I think a lot of times we use judgment when really it be assessments. Now, do some people judge? I would say a judgment, the way we use it, because even the way we use it is not correct based on the definition I just read. But the way that we use it is almost like making assumptions about something, right? So you see a female dressed a certain way, and then judgment would, in the way we use it, judgment will be like, oh, I bet she easy, or she a hoe, right? That's judgment, the way we use it. Whereas an assessment is like, nah, like based on the information in front of me, right? Because it's an evaluation. Again, the definition of assessment, the evaluation or estimation of the nature, quality, or ability of someone or something. So it's an evaluation. If I can evaluate what this is going on in front of me, then this is not a judgment. It's an assessment, right? And so I think those things, the balanced understanding in that regard too, can be conducive to better communication between people. When you realize that somebody's talking to you about what they've assessed, you have less reason to be defensive and more reason to open your heart to the constructive criticism or the expressed concern. Sometimes people just expressing concern. Hey, worried about you because I can see you. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm off this topic, man. I think that I've, pretty much got out a lot of the rhetoric that I wanted to spew. But make sure y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you don't do nothing else, man, stick to the codes. Yeah.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart and now hardened the flow. They don't